we're going to continue the fitness program. And I told you in the last segment that I want you to, if you're new to Wright Balance, if you'll put tape on your fingers, it can be any finger, not thumb, around all the way around the fingernail. So if you have tape, please do that. I will show you in another video that'll be attached or embedded in this ebook on fitness that will come out in the weeks, months ahead. I will provide that for you. Just understand, if you don't use this, you're only treating 1/3 of what we're doing. Okay, we have 15 stance widths to go to. Today, if you brought a yardstick or a ruler, I'll walk you through where we're going to start in a little bit, and we'll have you go through the Express. So the Wright Balance Express with me. So please put a tape on your fingers. I also talked the last time about the importance of having something on your hips. This is a PVC pipe with ends that you'd use in a watering system. You can use something as simple as a dowel pole, which is what we used in Centinela research. You do get a dowel pole, just eyeball it, make sure it's relatively straight, because I've looked at many of these over the years and used. Okay, so when you attach the bar, you'll notice, by the way, before I put this on, those of you who were with me saw me disrupt my core. I mean, I can feel my right shoulder is down, and when my right shoulder goes down, my right hip rises. And when you put the bar on your hips, I have the tape again on my what's called anterior iliac crest and on my shoulders. These are just anatomical landmarks for you to follow today as we go through this. But you'll notice how far down that bar is when I attach it, okay? The measurement system is going to be very important. This measurement system, for example, as I stand here and I relax, you can see the rotation I have in my hips. Now, if I'm tense, I can turn and tighten up my thighs and stay totally square. But when I relax, this is really what we're looking for. When I bring my elbows on my chest wall, leave them there, and I'm getting two measurements here. As I drop my hand, you can see my trail hand is above my lead hand, which is basically anytime your right hand is up, left hand's down, your hips are rotated left. Anytime your right hip or your right shoulder's down, right hip is up, your hips are rotated left. If you look at me face on, you'll notice that my left hand internally rotates more than my right. So the face on, when I drop my hands, you can see my right hand, this hand is higher than the other. And you'll notice when I bring my hands up, my right hand is lower. It's lower because it is measuring the height of my hips and my shoulders. Right shoulder down, right hip up. Now, if you have equal, I've referred to as crunch factor here, your hands might be pretty close. But we're going to show you how we're going to level the hips and level the shoulders today. That is what is left to eliminate what we talked about the last time as the piston movement of the hips as I walk, shoulders and hips are moving up and down. So if I take, well, back, this is rotational plane, okay? This is rotational plane. Anything moving and rotating parallel to this is on your rotational plane. So when I take a step forward, you can see the rotation of my hips. Anything moving in this direction, forward or backward, is called the sagittal plane, okay? Forward and backward. And we'll talk about the muscle slings that impact that. We're going to correct two of them today. So now that as you're looking at me face on, if I take a step forward and I look down, my right knee is out. It's headed in my inside of my right foot. I take a step forward here, I still get rotation, but my left knee is right over the middle of my foot. You're going to find that again, anytime we have hip rotation, that is going to create a movement of the knee. We talked about the injuries that will occur. When we finish today, when you're walking, standing, whatever, both knees will be right over the middle of your feet, which is very important in alignment of the kinetic chain. So we're going to look at segments of the kinetic chain. We're looking at a rotational plane coming out everything from the pelvis to the spine, but it goes all the way to the floor, as you've seen in some of the balance measurements. The other thing that we talked about the last time, but I didn't show you the results at the end, would be the knee pronation. But also, as I stand here, let me take this off for just a moment. The carrying angle. The carrying angle, if I go into posture here, you'll see the angle of my right arm is well out. Okay, this is disrupting my core symmetry. So by the time we finish just the first part of the exercise today, you'll see that my carrying angles are going to be the same on both sides, which is really, really important in terms of motion movement, whether it's rotational, sagittal, and the other plane of motion we have not addressed this is called the frontal or coronal plane. It goes this way. Anything parallel. So that's where we get rise of the hips, drop of the shoulder. It is on the coronal plane. So we will talk about how to correct that today as well. Okay. In our last session, we talked about the importance of exercise with no knee flex and with knee flex. So if I stand tall here, no knee flex, this is a measurement coming out of the back, okay? What's called the interior oblique sling, it is involved in gait, and that is the standing tall position is measuring the back. So when we talk about muscle slings, not only are we talking about the interior sling, but that interior sling has a front and a back, and I'll show you that today. It can be a little confusing in the beginning, I know. If I add knee flex, that's the front. No knee flex, that's the back. So we're going to correct both of those today, as we did the last time, with the Wright Balance Express, and it does correct. So knee pronation, understanding don't get bogged down on the muscle slings. As you heard me say the last time, we first started this research, late 90s, early 2000s, we looked at the core as 4, 5, 6 muscle groups. And that's the way it was defined. Now we're looking at slings, and what slings look at is a constellation of muscle groups. So how accurate that is now compared to 20 years from now, I think you're going to find that all of these combine a group of muscles. But what we're able to do is address those groups, and we're able to correct them. So your goal is once we have the kinetic chain in absolute balance, which will be the end of August, by the way, when it's all done, you're ready then to look at what activity. If I'm doing planks, how does that affect my core? Once we have it in balance, we can look at a muscle activity or an exercise and determine what did that exercise do to my body. And it's going to be a very simple test. Doesn't look like it now, but it's going to be a very simple test. You've already done much of it if you're following along. So what I'm going to do now is have you, if you don't have the bat, but you do have a circular object like a broomstick or a pool cue, I want you to take that. Today, we're going to start, and those of you who Wright Balance professionals, it is not marked. but we are going to start at 6 inches. So your first mark on your vinyl strip is 8, but we're going to go to 6. And why do we go to 6? Well, Rick Eisenhower and I have done a little bit of work together, looking at how can I, if I have 36 inches and I have a junior, and we're out as far as we can go, or we have somebody with back issues and they can't get that wide, what other numbers can they go to? Well, 6 inches is one. And I believe, as I recall, doesn't matter right now, but I believe 6 inches is the same as 36 on that structure. So let's go to 6 inches on your yardstick, 6 inches. Now, to go to 6 inches, if you have the bat and you have the lower core marked, go to that. If you only have your core zone marked or red or black, whatever, just go to the fat end of the bat. So, or if you use an cue stick, go to the larger end of that cue stick. So I'm going to go here to 6 inches, and I'm going to do the Wright Balance Express at 6 inches with this disrupted core. So extend your arms forward, roll your shoulders toward your sternum. Inhale through your nose, deep breath. And exhale through your nose. In through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Sorry. In through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Now, keep the shoulders rolled toward the sternum. It doesn't have to be tight. It's an isometric position. Now, what we're going to do is add a little bit of knee flex. In through the nose. Stay totally relaxed as you roll. Shoulders forward. Don't bring your shoulders up, just roll them toward the sternum. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, as I did that, I could feel my hips rotate to square, both from a standing tall position and then when I added knee flex. So you go back and view this video down the road, take a look at that. Now, what I'm going to do is lock out my knees. I'm going to lean forward, keep my shoulders rolled toward my sternum, in through my nose, out through my mouth. In through my nose, out through my mouth. In through my nose, out through my mouth. Okay, stay in that posture, shoulders rolled toward the sternum, and add just a little bit of knee flex. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through my nose, out through my mouth. In through my nose, out through my mouth. Now you're going to stand tall, lock out your knees. Now if you pull whatever object you're holding, pull it back to your chest, and you'll notice, with no knee flex now, you'll notice the pinches your shoulder blades together. Okay? Hold that position. In through your nose, not too tight, just it's an isometric move. You're just going to hold it. Shoulders are going to stay pinched together. Out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now I want to lean back. In through the nose, no knee flex. Keep the shoulder blades pinched. Out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now I'm going to add knee flex from this position. Now, if you have balance issues, make sure you have a sofa, a wall, you're outside, stand behind your student while you're doing this. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, we take 3 breaths because it takes about, the average person should be 3 to 5 breaths in 30 seconds, but your average person, 3 breaths is going to take about 10 seconds. And so we have a hold we've gone through 8 positions, 80 to 90 seconds. You're going to have your body in the balance we are in now. So if you look at me from the side, no knee flex, standing tall, my hips are absolutely square. If I add knee flex, my hips are absolutely square. If I stand tall and look straight ahead, notice how my hands hang exactly the same. If I add knee flex, they continue to hang absolutely the same. So I have balanced the core in a static position. However, if you look at my hips and shoulders, my shoulder is still down. I can feel the length of my hand down my pant leg here. So my right shoulder is still down, and that, if you look at my hips as they're marked, you likely can tell right shoulder's down, right hip is up. So in a static position, we're going to correct that. We did this the last time. So if I lean on the wall, no knee flex. Well, first of all, no knee flex impacts the back. My shoulder height is impacted by the back of my sling. Okay, my oblique sling is impacting the back. So no, we're going to go through this first with no knee flex. I lean in, and my hips are absolutely square. I have no issue here. We talked the last time about all of us have one side of the body that's stronger than the other. My left side, right hand dominant, is stronger than my right side. So ideally, you're able to see me here. No knee flex. Go to the wall and look where my hips go. Look, if you ideally, you can see this rotation. Now you can do one of two things. You can hold this position. It will slowly correct. I do one arm push-ups here. And please watch that bar, watch the white end of that bar, and you'll see it rotate to square. No knee flex, by the way. Okay? Now, if you look at my shoulders, no knee flex. I can feel it in my hands at my side, bring my arms down, bring my fist up, and they are exactly the same height. So my shoulders to you on that screen ought to look pretty level. Okay? Now, watch what happens when I add knee flex. Shoulders stayed level, but my right hip came up. Do that again. Here I am, no knee flex, shoulders are level, add knee flex. I don't know if you can tell the bar just rotated up on the right side a little bit. My shoulders are still level, but my right hip is still high. So how do I correct that? Well, let's take a look at the left side. No knee flex, add knee flex, bar stays square. No knee flex, add knee flex, bar stays square. Why? Because my left side is stronger than my right. I go to the wall now. You saw the rotation with no knee flex. Now I add knee flex and I have rotation. I'm going to correct that now. So you have knee flex impacts the front, which is the trail, which is my hips. No knee flex impacts the back, which is creating that shoulder change. So I'm going to do one arm push-ups with knee flex until I get square. And there we are. Now, if you look at me face on, please remember this is just a static position. You should see shoulders are square, hips are level, and I'm in good shape. So let's go to golf for just a second here. If you watch me from behind. I didn't show you this before, obviously should have, but my trail hip is now down, okay, which is so very important. In a stationary position, yeah, this will work for golf. You do want to correct, but the question, and one that we're beginning to answer is, for some players, I mean, I've done working all these exercises well over 15 years. So my body is going to be, my body's going to last longer. I remember 5-6 years ago flying I'm just flying to China, having done the Express, the version of it then, getting off the plane, I was still square in a static position. In a static meaning, I'm just standing still and I was still square. Took a bar with me, checked it. But that's after doing exercise for a long time. Anne Marie, who's playing golf today, getting ready for a major national tournament, would be in the lab in 2014-15 and doing the exercises you're going to learn today. You've already seen some of them. But she would say, I walk, by the time I get to 15, 16, 17, my hips are rotated. We've been looking at why. Well, when you do the Express, hold it longer. Hold it instead of 10 seconds each position. Hold it 20, and it will help. It will work. Well, that's one way we accomplish that. But again, we're only in a static rotational position. What about the athlete who has motion? I remember Jermaine may or may not be with us. Jermaine Kearse played for the Seattle Seahawks, got the winning touchdown and when they won the Super Bowl. And Jeff Shaw, Jermaine's one of Jeff's students. I was in Seattle with Jeff and we were showing the exercise and we had him take a step forward. Now, a body that is pretty solid there. And before he saw rotation, took a step forward, saw none. And he looked at me and said, you know, if I'd have had this when I was playing, I would have run a 4.3 instead of a 4.440. So when we start to look at that we've eliminated drag in one arena here, but not all. And I want to show you what I'm talking about in terms of drag. So my hips are square, okay? My hips are level, shoulders are level. But when I take that step forward, now, if you're working with a new student, they're going to have rotation even now. But somebody who's done this for a while or works out a good bit and strong core, look what just happened to my body. My trail hip, right hip, just dropped and my right shoulder went down. So if I take a step this way, my left hip, so I have a bit of a piston action in motion. I take that step back, my left hip, I can feel it dropped, and my left shoulder's down. So how do I know? Well, look at this. That's how my hips are square, but my fist is down. I can measure it this way. And I'm getting that. And if I had knee flex, I have the same thing. At knee flex, no change. So first thing we're going to correct is movement forward. I'm going to show you movement forward and then movement backward. The internal oblique sling, impact forward motion. We're running, it's not the only thing involved, but glutes goes all the way down the legs on both sides, up the back. But the internal oblique sling is what we're going to attack here. So how do we do that? If you ever did the Wright Balance Core 360, we have videos from 2015 of going through this exercise. And what I'm going to do now was one of those exercises. So what you're going to do is you're going to lean into the wall and you're going to raise your inside leg. When I raise my inside leg, I don't know if you can tell, this bar just went well to my right here. Let's do that again. Lean into the wall. Both feet are flat, raise the inside leg, and that I'm not pulling it back. That's just where it went. So if you test this on yourself, you'll see it. No knee flex here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, one arm, you can lean on the wall and hold it. It will correct take a little bit of time. But I can correct it with these one arm push-ups. Okay. Now that's no knee flex, okay? I'm going to go to the wall on this side. Let's see what the left looks like. Lean into the wall, and I have rotation here as well. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you'll notice it took me a lot longer to correct the right side than left in terms of the one arm push-up than it does on the left here. There, I'm square. So that is no knee flex. So that is the back side of the internal oblique I just trained. The back side of the internal oblique. So what does that mean? It means that if I step forward, I've lost the piston action. And take another no knee flex, I've lost that piston action. But if I take that step forward and I add knee flex, my left hip right hip just came up, left hip just dropped. So now I have with knee flex. We're going to correct that. Okay. If I take a step back, I'm still going to have the piston action because I have not corrected the external obliques. We're going to get to the external oblique here in a second. So you can see the piston action, no knee flex, no piston action because I've corrected it. As soon as I add knee flex here, which is where we're going to be walking, these hips are going to move. So let's correct both sides with knee flex. Same exercise, internal obliques. I'm square with no knee flex, add knee flex, and I'm well rotated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if you don't have a bar on your hips, that's going to be very difficult to assess. And this bar is going to be very important next month too. So please pick one up if you don't have it. So no knee flex, I get rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Took me 11 one-arm push-ups on the right side here and 6 on the left. See what that did. Again, all I'm addressing there is a lot stronger on the left side than my right side, and everyone has that. So that correction is important. Now, static position, I've lost the piston action. No knee flex, I'm good. Knee flex, I'm good. Hip stay square. I've eliminated another component of drag. Now, that is the internal or posterior obliques, okay? I had to work both the front and the back. I worked the front with knee flex, I worked the back with no knee flex. So as I do the exercise. And we talked before whether you're doing, unless you're on a machine that has you seated, calf raises, toe raises, whatever, you want to do them with and without knee flex. Planks, you want to do with and without knee flex, and then balance subsequently. So in the months ahead, we'll take one exercise a month, start with a square core, we'll do the exercise, and we'll take a look at how to correct it. All right, now we need to do the external obliques or anterior obliques, okay? Because, as you can see, I have absolutely no piston, no rotation, no piston action, nothing, okay? Until I start, take a step back, right hip went up, left shoulder went down. We're not going to do too much backward motion, but we do want to correct it. Because any tension you leave in the core is a potential for disruption, meaning that it's going to take you out. It's going to eliminate the symmetry of the kinetic chain. Okay, so step back. You can see, so this is coming out of the anterior external obliques. Okay, anterior external obliques. And each step I take, I get the piston action here, piston action here. You can see just more or less getting up and down. And again, that's on the frontal coronal plane. All right, we're going to correct now we're going to correct anterior external obliques. And how we do that is no knee flex. So we're going to, this inside leg stays very straight, and lean on the wall, and I have a good bit of rotation in my hips as I do. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and 10 on the took 10 to correct on the right side, and 1. I have a good bit of rotation here too, not as much as I did. 3, 4, 5. You know, and I find this very consistently that my left side's about twice. I would interpret that as 10 and 5, twice as strong as my right. And looking now at how can we catch up? How can I get that strength back? But at my age, you're looking at 75 plus years. Quite a few pluses there, of activity as an athlete, disrupting my core. Your younger players will probably be a lot easier to correct, I'm guessing, because they don't have the history of overuse in one particular subregion. So what I just did was I corrected the external obliques on the back side. They're still in the anterior, but the back side of that anterior oblique. So if I take a step back with no knee flex, I get no hip movement. My shoulders remains very square. No knee flex. And of course, you're not going to walk like this forward or back, but it's just to illustrate. I have only impacted the back side of my external obliques on the front. I add knee flex here, and my right hip goes up, and I actually got a little rotation of the hips there. And so if I take a step back, level, add knee flex, and you can see the right hip rise, left shoulder down. So we're going to correct that very simply. We're going to go to the wall, raising the outside leg off the floor, left side foot, totally square, add knee flex, and I have rotation. Now I'm going to correct that rotation with push-ups here. And once again, I think that's 8, 9, also 10. I remember when Anne Marie was in the lab 2015 or so, and we would have our students lean on the wall because they, with shoulder issues or whatever, couldn't extend out. Put a pillow if you need to do that. If you have a student, older person that has some shoulder issues, you can lean, leave the bar on, and just pull it out so you'll be able to see the rotation. Okay, now we're going to correct on left side. Raise the foot on the outside leg. I see rotation here. Once again, I'm at about 5 here and I'm square. So what does that mean? It means that I have completely lost the piston movement, going forward here, adding knee flex. See, there's absolutely no movement of the shoulders and hips up and down. What I believe, we haven't had an opportunity to test, that now walking on the golf course, once we've corrected all of this, we're going to have less chance of impacting the rotational plane. What I'm anxious to do is test runners, sprinters. Here is, as I take that step forward and I step into this, no movement, but also this, my knee is right over the middle of my foot. I've lost that knee pronation. Supination's out, pronation's in. I've lost that knee, supination, pronation. I had pronation, and it's gone. And whether it's running, walking, whatever, if you're playing defensive back, you are going to be moving on, talking about football, obviously, or even soccer, you're going to be moving backwards. So these positions are so very, very important in alignment of the kinetic chain. Now, the other thing we did is when I get set in posture, my carrying angle is exactly the same on both sides. Another huge benefit of having a balanced, symmetrical kinetic chain. So our goal with all of this is to determine what does an exercise do to all of these. And the measurements, as you'll see, are going to be pretty simple. It'll be, I won't say a quick test, but you go out, spend your day, whether anything from vacuuming to mowing the lawn to running to playing around the golf to working out in the gym, you can come home and be able to correct immediately. When I work out here, I'm doing planks, I'm doing toe raises, I'm doing curls, I'm riding my bike. All of these factors will disrupt the core. I believe that once we have, and you'll see at the end of the month, when we get into the longitudinal sling, goes from the top of the spine down into the glutes, into the legs. When we start to correct the longitudinal sling, I believe we're going to have a core that will last a lot longer without disruption. But we'll see. We'll see. The key is that we know now how to correct a lot.